TV.
Good evening and welcome to West Talk. Today's Tuesday, June the 17th, and this, I'm pretty sure, is going to be our last episode of this season of West Talk. Is that right, Gian? Blink twice if it's the, yep, that's right. And it's also the 125th episode with me as your host. And previously we had Mr. Dave Luther as a host of the show. I think he was maybe the first West Talk host, and then in his retirement I took over. So thank you for tuning in on all these Tuesday evenings and watching on YouTube, and thank you to everybody in the grocery store who says, buddy, Channel 9, I appreciate it, I love it, and it's great to hear. It's what keeps us going, so thank you. We're going to close out this season by talking about some of the great things happening here in the area over the summer. Some things you might want to go to, some places you might want to make sure that you visit when you're in town, or just something different. A place maybe you might want to bring some friends who are visiting, or a special night out that you might want to make sure you go get your tickets for right now. We are going to start by having somebody who's right here in studio with us. You know her. You know her well, even though the last time she was here was filling in for me. She was supposed to be my guest. She ended up hosting the show. She was pregnant, and now she's a mom. Welcome back to the set, Director of Operations for Majors Contracting Limited, Miss Autumn Gale.
Thank you, sir. Oh, a handshake.
We do handshakes now.
Wow, handshakes amongst friends.
Couldn't do that before.
I like
right?
it.
Thank you for coming back in.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime you need me to host, call.
I will, because you know that happens sometimes. And of course, for the folks at home, Autumn and I, we at one time even co-hosted a show together, Explore NL, which still reruns on Rogers, I think, pretty regularly. Yeah. Did everybody ever say anything to you about that show?
All the time. I am always taken aback by how many people come up to me and say, oh, Autumn from Rogers TV. And I, like at this point, what, 4, 5 years later?
Yeah.
I have to think about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Rogers TV, right.
Yeah.
But that was so fun. That was
good times.
Hands down, best summer of my life so far.
Truly was, yeah. And a lot of people always are stopping to talk about Darren Park, you know, as well, who's just still a legend, still out there killing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got my trip booked for the summer already.
I was going to say, that's got to go on the list of things to do this summer.
Things
if it's
you
like
must do.
Western Newfoundland summer bucket list kind of thing. Go out with Darren for a day.
Four Seasons tours for people who don't know who Darren is.
Right. Thank you. You're such a good you're co-hosting this interview.
Here we are.
Awesome.
Bring Glenda in.
So your last time I think you were here, maybe your job title might have been then General Manager of the Hew and Draw Hotel or something.
Yeah, my job title has always been Director of Operations for Majors Contracting. I was brought on to help open up the Hew and Draw Hotel, as most people know, and that's where most people know me from.
Right. Are you sure it's not from Explore NL?
No, and Explore NL on Rogers TV. Check it out.
Yeah.
But, you know, over the last couple of years, as we've expanded the Hew and Draw, we've taken over multiple parts of the business. We've expanded into Grossmore. I'm doing a lot more on the major side as well.
Yeah.
So
there's lots going on.
Title,
Right, and so now you've got the Hew and Draw Hotel, of course, one of Newfoundland's, probably one of North America's top boutique hotels. They're very exciting, which houses a restaurant and Boomstick Brewery. Yes. And then you guys have properties in Grossmore as well.
Yep, Nettie's Nook.
Nettie's Nook, and lots of other things going on, commercial projects in Deer Lake, so on and so forth. So flat out. Even since you guys have opened already, the business has like transformed so much. Right now you have new stuff going on in the restaurant. I don't know if you want to throw that out there, because kind of some big changes lately.
Yeah, well, when we first opened in 2020, you know, it was a hotel and a new brewery, and the idea of taking on a restaurant and opening that on the exact same day at the same time was a little overwhelming. So we did originally decide to lease out our restaurant. 5 years later, you know, the lease was coming to an end, and we were feeling in a really good place with our team, bringing in a few new team members, and it was time, you know, it was time for us to take ownership of that space and to be the ones who were in charge of the product and making sure that it was matching the quality of the Hew and Draw Hotel.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. We got that done. We hired on a new executive chef, Andrew Dale from St. John's.
What a gun.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yes. We actually worked together at the Capitol Hotel when we were much younger, I'm not going to age myself, but many years ago, we worked at the Capitol Hotel when he was doing his work term from Holland College.
Yeah.
And he was the executive chef at Exile, Jag Hotel, for 8 years, and then always dying to move to the West Coast. Of course, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
So here we are.
And he's really into the outdoors and
Super.
riding dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So a really good fit, very on-brand guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very
I
exciting.
just love to have him. Like, the excitement level across the team has gone up, so.
Yeah, and he adds a lot of personality, so that's very exciting. And then the brewery stuff is obviously still going flat out.
Yes.
You guys are probably, would you say Boomstick is like one of the top by volume now, like microbrewery or craft breweries in Atlantic Canada? Is it fair to say?
I don't know about Atlantic Canada.
No?
I don't have those stats, so I
Yeah.
don't want to tell any
Okay.
lies. But in
Right.
Newfoundland, we're definitely up there. We're in the
Yeah.
top contenders. I mean, it feels like it never stops.
Yeah.
New products all the time. Dave's
over the
back
place.
there. Dave Bridger, our brewer, he's back there brewing every single day during the summer, so
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. It does seem fun. I've seen beers even on the mainland, I think, and like everywhere. So the stuff's getting around there.
Yeah, kind of our biggest new venture on the brewery side this year would be our non-alcoholic beer. So we're
Ooh,
the first
know about
first
that.
craft brewery in the province to do a non-alcoholic beer. It's complicated because you need to do pasteurizing. You
Right.
can't have non-pasteurized non-alcoholic beer.
Because alcohol is kind of what, like.
Keeps it.
Okay, right.
I don't know the right terminology.
Yeah, but it makes
keeps
sense.
it safe.
Yeah, it
Let's
makes
say
sense.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we figured out how to pasteurize, and we're at Coleman's. We're at Needs Convenience. We're really putting a big push on the non-alcoholic beer, and that's just following the trends. You know,
Yeah.
people are drinking less alcohol, so it's
It's true.
important for us to diversify.
Very, very. I mean, that's what majors contracting is all about,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's what we do.
Right? It's like, oh, this is changing. Let's diversify in a big
let's
way.
figure
so,
it out, yeah.
So that's awesome. And then the new thing on Todd Street here, this Sea Can. Tell us about that, because I was just there for the first time, and I want one in my yard now.
Yeah. So we actually went through this process last year, but it was the first year we were still kind of getting our feet underneath us. So we took a commercial sea can, did it all ourselves, repurposed it completely into a fully functional bar and restaurant.
And it's amazing.
It has a prefab sectional patio that we built as well. I had nothing to do with the construction. Very talented people built it.
How many people can fit out there roughly?
30.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
30 people. We do have plans for expansion. I won't get into it, but next year you should expect it to get a bit bigger.
Well, it already seems to be, it seems like it's in high demand. It's one of the coolest al fresco sort of situations.
Yeah, and the City of Corner Brook, I mean, shout out to them. They've been amazing to work with.
Yeah.
Every year we ask to shut down a real
road.
operational street in the
Yeah,
City of Corner Brook.
that's not just your
and
parking lot. That is a
it is a real
street. Yeah.
So they've been incredibly supportive. And, I think it's just about seeing the value. So when you put something like that, an operational restaurant right there on our main, it's called West Street, but it's one of our main
Yeah.
thoroughfares in Corner Brook. That's where all the cruise ship passengers go by. That's where every tourist passes. So, they see the value in having something out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do too, obviously. Here we are.
Yeah, and you guys even have like a special little menu out there now. I
Yes.
see you've got like the lobster roll. You got to have a lobster roll on the go
Yes.
for cruise season. I know it can be, it's also an expensive product to kind of make sometimes.
Yep.
It's like a bit of a lost leader even. But I mean, it's like a thing that I know people get off these cruise ships and are like, hey, where's the best lobster roll
Where
in
can we
town? And
find
last
it?
summer it
Yeah.
was like they started doing it at Park West and stuff. But before that, there was none.
No.
We don't really embrace that. Like people ask, where's all this amazing seafood and stuff? Sometimes it's hard to find here.
No, you really have
Yeah.
to appeal to that market.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. So you
Well,
guys will be right there all summer.
Yeah, we're there all summer. We've expanded this year. Last year it was from July to September. Now we're doing June 1st until the end of September, till right after CB Nui and the Fall Color Festival. So
Yeah, amazing. So anything else you're involved with now that you want to shout out? Or I know you're involved with lots of different things. Or
at the hotel, outside of it.
anything outside of it, just a little thing from Autumn, I guess, about, what are you excited about this summer, or anything that you think people should know about?
Man, I'm excited about the tourism season in general. So as you know, I volunteer my time on a lot of different tourism related boards, and I'm seeing some things kind of at the higher, or not the higher level, just like on a broader scope, that the tourism season's expanding in Newfoundland and Labrador. There is an effort to expand it from the government, from the associations,
We're talking about these shoulder seasons, you mean?
Yes,
Or
like
yeah.
expanding into the shoulder season, making our peak and busy season longer. And something that I'm really excited about across all of our businesses is that I'm seeing it. So,
Right.
normally June, since we've opened the hotel, it's an okay month, but it's not busy. It's not full of tourists. It's not, people are not coming here in June like they are in July and August. But this year, fully booked in June. Even our Gross Mourne property, fully booked in June. And not just us, it's everyone that I'm talking to.
That's good to hear too, because it would make sense that you guys are fully booked all the time. It's just such a dope spot.
Thank you.
Right in your boutique, and you're keeping, high demand and all that as well. But you're
really
saying this is a
across the board.
trend, you're seeing this like,
Everyone I speak with.
wow.
And, really hoping that pushes through to the September and the October timeline as well, because it's,
Yeah, that's the best time.
oh
right?
yeah, but that's the best time of the year in Newfoundland
Yeah.
when people don't get to see it, right?
Right.
Especially in Corner Brook.
Yeah, we get some cruise passengers come in. The cruise stuff is a little heavier in the fall, even sometimes the changing of the leaves that we take so for granted here. But that's really good. That's a good report on the tourism sector
Yeah, it's
for
really
sure.
optimistic.
Yeah, and so for you and your new fam now, and your little 2-year-old girl, and your
Yes.
doggies and all that, is there anything that any special experience you're looking forward to in Western Newfoundland?
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna
we
go camping or anything like that?
We go camping every weekend that we're here. We just try to keep busy and try to make sure that, Flora's getting this really immersive West Coast experience that I've been so lucky to have.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to, we're getting out with Darren at Four Seasons Tours. I do that every single year. I did it with Flora last year when she was 1 year old, had to change a diaper in the boat. Darren was amazing,
Yeah.
like the best. We also try to get out to Pollard's Point to see Rob and Lorraine.
Right on.
Yeah,
River Seas, yeah.
So we're going to try to get out to see them again this year. Just
Cool.
get out around, go to the parks.
Yeah.
We'll do Burgeo. There's
Deadly.
lots of places that we try to get.
Deadly. Just living the Newfoundland dream.
Get some foraging done. We did a bit of foraging this weekend. Not a lot, but just
Good skill.
Flora has a short attention span, so we pick a little here and there, and I call that a win.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's what we should all be doing. Embrace what we have here, hey?
Yeah, that's the point.
Autumn, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
We're going to go have a chat with somebody else now about some exciting stuff happening, but hopefully we'll see you around the Sea Can.
Fun. Congratulations on 125.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
That was Autumn Gale. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our next guest in studio. Stay tuned. And we are back. And of course, to close out this summary episode of this season, who better to talk to than the person who knows what is on the go around here? We've got with us the Supervisor of Tourism for the City of Corner Brook, Miss Glenda Simms. Glenda, thanks for coming down
So fun.
to the studio. It's good to see you
Thanks
again.
for having me. Good
Yeah.
seeing you.
Yeah.
I love a day that starts off with a visit with Dustin.
Right, and of course right here, and now you get to, this is actually a visit with Western Newfoundland. Now you get
Yeah.
to come hang out with Western
Oh,
Newfoundland
all
for
of
the
Western
evening
Newfoundland.
and talk about what's happening, because there's so much great things happening in Corner Brook this summer.
There he is.
And of course, as Supervisor of Tourism, you've got your hands into so much of it. And I want to ask you a little bit about cruises and stuff like that, but let's start off by, what is, in your opinion, a great summer in the Humber Bay of Islands region consist of? What are some things that you think everybody should do? What are some things that you can't wait to do this summer?
I think on my list would of course be like local restaurants, local bars. I mean, get that if you're coming from out of town, you get that taste of the local seafood and things like that. I do think that with our region being so vast in Four Seasons tourism, I think that for the summer season, you have your zip lining, your river rafting, hiking, multi-use trails. A lot of the trails are being improved and updated to be multi-use,
Yeah.
which is great. I do enjoy a ride on the Mill Whistler, of course. I'm
Right.
gonna throw that
That's
in
your
there.
baby.
That's my baby. And then take a little ride around downtown and see the Corner Brook sign, which is another one of my babies.
Yeah.
And then I did something last week that I never did before,
Whoa.
which was, which I almost died because
Whoa.
I am just out of shape. So I went down, we've decided we're going to start doing some hikes and trying to see these hiking trails and really take advantage of that backcountry, beautiful nature, especially this time of year where it's not too hot, but it's, we did South Lighthouse Trail.
Oh, down Lark Harbor there?
Yes.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
With the
I was
ropes and everything?
First hike of the season, first hike of
Oh, wow.
5 years, and I'm like,
You climb a cliff.
Yeah, and like my partner's like, hey, want to do a hike? I'm like, okay, we'll just start off easy.
Yeah,
It's-
Cedar Cove would have been easy.
Cedar Cove would have been easy.
Yeah.
That's where we were initially going to go, and then we did a walk out to the lookout at Bottle Cove,
Yeah.
and then we went back up over those that hill.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I was using ropes to try to get up to a waterfall.
Was
so,
it one of those things where you saw the sign, you're like, hey, look, the lighthouse, it's only 2 kilometers.
exactly.
It's only 2
It's
kilometers.
only 2 kilometers.
And then you start to see the ropes. You're like, oh,
I'm
God.
like, this is crazy. So, but
Beautiful,
it was
though.
so beautiful
It's unreal.
that I didn't even realize the depth of where we were gone.
Yeah.
And the trail was marked perfectly. There was like a lookout at the rocks and the caves, and there was a lookout at the water. Then there was a waterfall. Then there was a big grassy field. Like it was
Yeah,
just
it's
like
so nice.
It was so much happening that I didn't really even grasp the distance I had gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Until I was like gassed.
Yeah, there's so much to do. That's right there alone, from the dining outdoors to hiking trails. It all seems to be connecting together here now in the region,
Yeah.
which is very exciting to see, of course.
It's a great
And-
opportunity to create a full itinerary.
Right.
So it's like instead of like trying to make an itinerary that goes for like trying to fill in 4 days, you could actually come here and like ingest in this region,
Yeah.
like jam pack 4 days, like, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
which is great.
Yeah, now it's like we only have 4 days.
Yeah, we only,
Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah.
that's what you want to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of itineraries and stuff, let's talk about a few things that people are going to want to make sure, if they don't already have it on their calendar, then they need to put
it
this
in
in there right now for these nights. So I think the first one that coming up to talk about is, of course, Jigs and Wheels. It's a big festival. It's gone through a lot of changes every year, growing, getting better every year. And this year, the biggest thing, of course, is the big headline opening concert is now shifted from what was Broadway last year, and now you're shutting down West Street
Right.
for the first time. Pretty historic thing, putting a stage right up there at the end of West Street. Bigger stage for a bigger
act,
show,
yeah.
right? So, and this year, such a crazy lineup, but namely headlined by Canadian rock icon Kim Mitchell.
Right.
Right, and I know that even talking to you recently, it sounds like some of the participating bars and stuff are starting to get interested and excited, you know, shopping for patio lanterns on
Yes,
Amazon and stuff like
exactly.
that. So why don't you, what's your vision now for this night and how this is going to plan out?
Well, we're hoping that this will will provide an opportunity for residents, for the city, for the province, for tourists and alike, to recognize that if they do come to the City of Corner Brook, that there will be an opportunity to have such a great experience. So I feel like the growth of Jigs and Wheels and the growth of the opening night is evident.
Yeah.
And so my goal is just to hope that all of the people that participate have the best time ever.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and just making, you know, I think it's also this thing of delivering a high quality show to the people in the city. They shouldn't have to compromise because we live here. It's nice that every now and then like a really nice big event happens and a big act comes through, and there's so limited really people out there doing that type of work nowadays that it's a lot of times falls on the
definitely a lot.
towns, the city
Yeah.
themselves, to be like, hey, we'll make this happen.
So
Yeah.
we recognize that, you know, a lot of the opportunities that come through Jigs and Wheels, including the opening night, it's best for the city as a group of staff and council that want to be community focused, to recognize that in order to sell where you live, you love where you live. You have to love where you live. So if we're able to show that we can put off an event this size, then of course that only still gives us opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
So if we're able to make this event successful this year, then that means for a bigger band next year. Not that,
Right.
you know, I mean, I love Kim Mitchell. That's not
Yeah.
what I mean, but you get what I mean. the
That's how
growth,
things grow. It's
That's how
from
things
it's from
grow, yeah.
continued support. Yeah.
continued support throughout. And I mean, the goal for the city is to support local businesses, local organizations, local musicians, but also to bring something in
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, well,
So-
sometimes you just need that
Balance.
something, that draw of something that helps, creates the catalyst to support the community and the
Exactly.
musicians. So that big show, July 25th, tickets are on sale now, going well, tickettide.ca, and they'll be a little bit more expensive if people decide to, for some reason, wait until the day of to buy tickets,
man.
right? So
Can I tell
get
them
them
not
now.
to wait?
Yeah, don't wait, Corner Brook. You know what you're like, and give it up now. Go buy these tickets. Again, you got to see that support, right?
Right.
So
If we see the support early, what'll happen is, obviously for some events and some things, you have to reach a minimum
Yeah.
by a certain time for certain
Yeah.
things. So if we can get the support of the community or those visitors away that are coming home to purchase their tickets early,
Right.
it can give us an idea of what we can start planning for next year.
Exactly.
And in turn, earlier announcements, and,
Yeah.
and then people can book their flights early and things like
Yeah.
that. We have a big group coming home for presentation.
yeah, the reunion,
Presentation of
high school
Regina.
reunion or something.
Presentation of Regina.
Regina, I think.
Regina.
Yeah.
50th.
Yeah.
something like that. So there's like a big group of them that are
That's
going to be hitting
wild.
the street. So I'm just excited to see them.
Yeah. So that's definitely, I would say, like the biggest concert in Western Newfoundland now of the summer. So everybody should get out to that. And then also, I think the next weekend or a couple weekends after, you have the Rib Fest, which I've been hearing so much
Couple
about.
crazy.
Right? I've been hearing so much about that. So this one is over in Bowater Park.
Right.
Right? And just how does that work? It's like these big pit masters or like rib bosses come in from where?
They'll come in from somewhere,
Yeah.
but basically the first weekend is the opening weekend, of course, and then that's going to be a great boom. And then when you travel to Newfoundland, access is not easy. Access is not inexpensive. So making sure that we fill that 10 days with great heavy events to ensure that, you know, family and friend from away come home that time and, you know, make things happen, or just people who have their 2 weeks vacation, like, you know, that are living here. It does make a difference to have stuff that's, you know, heavy.
Yeah.
So Rib Fest will be happening the second weekend, which is great. So they'll come in with their big trucks and their big light displays and their pulled pork and their ribs and
Yeah.
all this baked beans and everything else.
It's
and
like competition style barbecue, and it's like different
crazy.
sort of vendors, right?
yeah,
and then-
I'm just going to spend that day eating.
And so the city, so when people want to go out for that, do they have to like pay to get into the grounds, or you just go up and buy your food, and then there's
Exactly.
like sometimes there's entertainment and stuff
So
too?
what they'll do is they'll pop on over to the Margaret Bowater Park.
Yeah.
The swimming stuff will be open. The canteen will still be open. There will be lots of opportunity for excitement for anyone in the family. Pick up their ribs. We'll have extra picnic tables put out. Sit around, have your lunch. There'll be live music playing all day Saturday. There'll be Corner Brook Day Saturday. There's a Taylor Swift tribute happening. So any of your Swifties are out there, wants to come down and get themselves a little bracelet, or, you know,
Yeah.
change their friendship bracelets, that kind of thing. There's just so much happening. There'll be bouncy castles. There will be cupcakes. Everything.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, but I think the fun part is in the daytime, you got all this family excitement, and still, like, you know, why the kids are swimming, you can have a feed, listen
Yeah.
to some live music. But then in the evening, there will be a beer tent opened up Friday evening, Saturday evening from the Kinsman that will also allow for you, if Dad wants to pop over and have a beer
Right.
while watching live music, he can.
I love that.
And I do too, actually. It's like a great opportunity for the whole family to participate. Not necessarily that
Yeah.
everyone's going to go have a beer, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then something to sit around and do. And then there will be, like music playing all day,
Nice.
Merrymakers, Cover Girls. Soy.
That the Cover Girls. That just reminded me
Yeah,
too to
Cover
mention
Girls,
about
not
Jigs and Wheels, how that concert is 19 plus. The whole show is 19 plus
Yeah.
on that one. Just a
That is.
reminder for the people
Opening
out there.
night.
So this will be able to go into the participating bars, go to the beer tent, consume, have their beer on the street under the beautiful summer night,
Right.
if that's what you're into, or not.
And some lanterns.
Yeah, or just have a
Lantern
coffee
light.
or whatever and like enjoy
yeah,
the nice
coffee
show,
shop.
right? Yeah.
Even the coffee shop's going to open up.
Are they?
So
Did they?
on West Street, we're going to have barricades off. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
you know, so I
that's
get
right.
excited. So we're going to have barricades cut off, cutting off obviously the street so that it's a secured area because there's alcohol served. The bars will be able to serve, and then some of those bars will have their own patios, and then of course the beer tent. But then the coffee shop there, he said he was going to open too. So that's even great. Hopefully bread and butter sounds like they'll probably be open.
Let's go,
So
yeah.
whether it's not, it's all night.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. But I mean, there'll be opportunity for food,
Yeah.
coffee if you don't want to have a drink.
It'll be an amazing night in town. I know even Hew and Draw, I think the Hew and Draw is just outside the gated up,
It
but
is.
even there, they're going to have
They're
stuff
gonna
on
be
the go
busy.
and they'll be part of it, right? So
And the Greenwood Inn will have their
Yeah.
patio set up. They've been a sponsor this year, which is great.
the whole street will be just
yeah,
electric.
So it's going to be great. We had a lot of great sponsors this year.
So listen, Glenda, we're just going to be in the final moment here now, and Gian is in the studio having a chat with Glenda's new assistant, I guess, or intern, who's from Cuba.
She's from Cuba.
So she's in there having a full-on Spanish conversation with Gian in the booth.
Maria.
And Maria is awesome.
the name.
Listen, there's a couple people now and then who I get to ask this question to who can provide, I think, a good answer. I might even have asked you in the past. No, the last person I asked was Rob. Right off the top of your head, throw out there, let's provide some value to people. If you could take a step back, if you could start a business or give some people some business ideas if they wanted to cater to, say, the cruise business, or if they wanted to like get in on the overall tourism opportunity that you see as some sort of vendor or something, is there any ideas that come up or some gaps that you think like, oh, if somebody was doing this or that, it would do well?
Oh, ones that I can answer.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You know, my brain goes crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? You're
So,
involved with a lot of things too,
a lot of
but you
things.
know.
So my background is the cruise industry. Of course, I've worked on board for
Yeah.
10 years, just in case.
Yeah.
So for me, throwing something out is not just,
Yeah.
you know. I would say Well, I still think that educating people on the how product is sold on board cruise ships. So even though when passengers come off of the ship, coming into the square, when we started this tourism department in 2019, there was 3 vendors in the square. We have over 100 on the list right now. They offer so many products. If you're going to go into the vendor aspect of it, make sure it's something, I think selling something that fits into a carry-on is one of the main things.
Is there any gaps that you see now of like types of products that are underrepresented or like things that people ask for you think that they aren't getting right now?
I have to think, because
I know there's a lot.
so much sea glass stuff. There's so much like local stuff made from the trees and things like this. I think that there's I should be able to identify a gap. My gap is always going to be the educating people on how to present and promote their product.
Right.
So
have the best chance of success.
That's where it is. And I think like my role on board cruise ships was assessing. So I'd go out in hundreds and hundreds of ports, and I would do full assessments of products, not only products that were offered to passengers and guests as they visited the port, but also to products as in tour operations.
Yeah.
So I've done many assessments on helicopters, float planes, scuba diving, but also down to a coffee shop. If you have a coffee shop, put a greeter at the door.
Right.
You know, like that kind of thing.
So what I gather from that, Glenda, is if there's somebody out there and they have an idea, if they have a concept, or if they maybe have something they're doing now, then maybe you're somebody they could talk to if they really want to have an objective opinion of, you know,
if they want an honest opinion,
and
they want, I'm going to be direct.
Yeah.
If they want an honest opinion, don't pay somebody to come in because, you know, take my Newfie accent and my experience to your advantage. Pop me down and give me your product. And if you want me to give you an honest, unfiltered review that would be putting you to the next level for the cruise industry, then reach out.
Because Glenda knows
what's on the
go. Glenda, thank you very much for being this my final guest of this season.
I love it. Oh, am I?
Yeah, you are of this season.
Gosh.
Episode 125, so thank you very much.
I feel like I should wave.
We'll have you back in the fall, though.
Yes, you will.
And we'll talk about all the exciting stuff going on and looking forward to the winter. So thank you very much. Have a great summer.
Thank you, and I appreciate you for all you do.
Thank you very much. And that was Glenda Simms, Supervisor of Tourism at the City of Corner Brook. Sir, I'm talking Glenda speed here now. And we're going to wrap it up for this episode. I want to thank Autumn Gale as well for coming down and telling us about the exciting things on the go there. This summer, get out, support a local business, buy that concert ticket. We want to see you on the streets. Take care. Have a great summer.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
This is Rogers TV.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. Wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
Have a Holden one at 15.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Baseball, there's nothing more important than making it home.
George Springer has tied the game.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
It's gone!
But I do it with style.
Boy, has he got some kind of power.
And a little swagger, too.
Because no matter where you happen to be,
what a play!
There's only one place.
Got it!
Jays fans call home.
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet. Sportsnet.
Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
This is Rogers TV.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that put